on their hands. Wait till y'all hear this one. Micah Parsons, he caught some flack from his teammate Malik Hooker, who went on a podcast and had an issue with what Micah Parsons was doing. He said on All Facts, No Breaks podcast, and y'all gotta listen to it.
My advice would be for Micah would be, just make sure we're all right, and being where your feet are. Because if we're at work and, the run game's terrible, but you're doing a podcast every week and the run game is terrible, then, what are you really caring about? Are you caring about the crowd that is watching your podcast? Are you caring about the success of our team in the Super Bowl that we're trying to reach?
Michael Parsons, he responded and he said, just wish you had said this to me, but instead on some podcast, and you got my number, family, at Malik Hooker 24. And you my locker mate. So you could have said this any day. And you do realize I shoot this podcast on a day off. Why ain't we talking about everyone's preparation and focus? Close quote. Let's dive in on this one. This was intriguing to me. Shay, why you sighing, big
I mean, come on. Like, what are we talking about?
What we talking?
Stay in your lane, man.
Your lane.
Can't
be Micah. Can't be Micah.
Who going first? Is it
what
me?
lane?
Micah got a couple lanes, so it can't be Micah.
I mean, understand.
I know, right? They're on the defense. You're on the team.
Bro. No,
so what lane?
But Micah to the left, Micah to the right, Micah down the middle. So, I mean.
$400 on speak. What number is Hooker?
28?
Is that a guess?
Let me make sure.
You better phone a friend. He said, like, what are we talking about? Oh, yeah, $100. My thing is, look, we talking about Michael Parsons here. I have a hard time with players that I'm not familiar with their game speaking on me. And we're on the same team. If you're a regular player on another team talking about me, cool, I get it. You're on the same, you know how this thing works. It goes me, other great players, and then y'all and the rest, right? So why are you speaking on me in the public side, though? That's another thing that's crazy. We locker mates, you could have texted me, you could have called me, you could have, we in a cold tub together. Hey, bro, I know you're doing your podcast, big dog, but listen, the defense ain't really doing well. Our run game's not as leaking. All these type of things. And the player, and another thing is like, if he's saying that, I'm sure other players are talking about it. Maybe Mike is talking too much on the podcast, whatever it may be. But let somebody else talk about it. Let that holler at me. Let CeeDee Lamb holler at me. Let the head coach holler. Not you, because you don't have the right. Because you not like that.
Come on, 2-5.
Yeah, I'm always,
come on,
huh?
2-5. Don't do this.
Before I let you go, I'll say this. He keep talking too much, right? And if Micah gets fed up with it, because he's from Harrisburg, I know how we get down, it's going to be two things. One, he's going to dress him when he's sing. Right? That probably is going to happen. That's what I would have did. Or, hey, coach, look, man, I ain't comfortable with my man Hooker. You know what I'm saying? I don't like what he's talking about, but this and the third. What you going to do?
Yeah.
And you know how that's going to go.
We need him,
They going to call him, going to say, Hooker, bring your playbook.
We need him, though, Shady.
For what?
We need a good safety. Come downhill, make some tackles.
I'm not familiar with his game.
Here's my thing, though, 2-5. First and foremost,
the best line.
Let's clarify. Okay. Hooker was a first-round pick. Hooker's going on year 8 in the National Football League. So let's clarify a couple things. I have no issue with what Hooker said.
Oh, so he the vet.
Of course he's the vet.
Yeah.
Somebody got to say it. Somebody got to. We know. Here's what we know about football. Here's what we know about sports. Here's what we know about athletics. Sometimes the best player is not the best leader. Unfortunately, sometimes the best player is not the best leader. I don't think that what Micah's doing, the podcast on the off day, I don't think that's condemnation on his leadership. I do think it's bad optics. I think it is terrible optics. And so often in sports, we do things optically. Like, hey, coach, why can't I go to this? Why can't I go to? Because of optics. Like, yeah, we know you're not necessarily going to sleep at 9 p.m. the night before a game, but can you just not be on Instagram Live at 11 p.m.? Like, hey, we know you might be at the club, but do you really have to IG Live where you at? It's all about optics. All relationships, including relationships between teammates, relationships between players and organizations, are about optics. And the optics for Micah Parsons' podcast looks bad because when the Cowboys are getting gassed and then Micah's going out there and saying whatever he's saying about anything, or when he's saying that, these other teams are a top 5 and the Cowboys aren't on that list, optically it just looks bad. I don't think it's that bad. I just think optically it looks bad. I feel Malik for at least bringing it to attention. He should have said it to Micah. He should have said it to Micah. He should have said it to Micah.
You think Malik, is it Malik?
Malik Hooker.
Okay. You think Hooker could have a podcast talking like that?
No, he don't. But they don't want a podcast. But
I'm saying if he did a podcast, coach like, hey man, you talking too much. That's dead it. You think they don't say it to Micah though? It's a reason. No. So all I'm saying is, look, man, like your job is to play football, right, and be a good teammate. Do that, because you're not being a good.
To me, that is being a good.
You're not being a good. How? You going to the media talking about me?
By at least calling things out.
In the media?
I wouldn't have done it in the media.
Yeah, that's weak. And the second thing is like, who is you to be talking? I had to get there, right? Who are you to be talking about me?
An 8-year NFL vet.
A what?
8-year NFL game.
Okay.
No, I agree. I agree with Acho, and I agree with Shady. The main point in this is I don't really know if people know what locker room mates are.
Yeah,
but
break
locker
that down.
room mates
Break that
is
down.
right here.
Hey.
Joy, Acho suit kind of cool today. Shady tripping. Like you talk about stuff to where only you and your locker mate know.
That's it. I'm still cool
Me
with my locker
and
mate to this day.
Jordy have stories to where we can't say publicly that we talked about as locker mates. I'm the godfather to Greg Jennings' children, who's this locker mate on this side. Like, you are just way closer with your locker mate. So
real.
with your locker mate, nothing should ever come out to the public and you saying this on a podcast. Talk to me. I'm right here next to you every single day. You have my number. Talk to me. I don't mind them calling them out if you telling me this in the locker room. I do mind you calling me out in public because I am your locker mate. I don't care who you are on the team. I feel like as a team, you should be able to call teammates out. That's part of the game. We are trying to win. We are trying to chase a championship. You should be able to call people out, superstar or not. Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, it does not matter. But coming out publicly to the media, I absolutely hate when players do that because now that brings the magnifying glass. If they see Micah miss a tackle, or if they see Micah not in the same gap, or they see Malik Hooker not in the same gap, they are going to bring magnifying glasses to that. What does that do to the locker room? We all know the locker room can get cliquish.
Yeah.
So certain people is with Malik, certain people is with Micah. That's just how it is, whether you're a star or not. So this is just bad for the football team.
You think people going to hold on?
Yeah.
What's up?
What's the last thing you just said?
I said certain people. We ain't watching film, Shady.
No, but
if he's speaking the truth, certain people is going to ride with Malik on this. And certain people is going to ride with Micah, period.
Okay. All right.
I think, Joy, I want you to weigh in here, but I think to James's point, I think James has something because Shady, you often speak from your place as a superstar, which is fair. You were a superstar.
Right.
I speak from my place as somebody fighting to stay on a squad. Our conversations were different. Y'all was talking about us. Hey, why they going so hard? Why they doing this? Why they doing that? We was talking about y'all. If they would only lead better, we would win some more games around here. If they'd only
saying that about Shady
if they
to
would
your
only
locker
work as
mate?
hard as we would, then we could win some more games around here. When I think about the Cowboys secondary, they're vets now. They vets. Jerron Kearse starting safety. He was in 2016. Malik Hooker starting safety. He was drafted 2017. Donovan Wilson, he was drafted 2019. When you think about that squad, Diggs already got paid. Stephon Gilmore was there last year. He played with Shady in Buffalo back in the 2017 era. So I do think there's a lot of veterans in the Cowboys locker room that probably share Malik Hooker's sentiment, though I don't know if they would have said it publicly. Joy, break it down for us, man.
Yeah, but if you have this sentiment, then you say it to Micah.
That's the biggest thing.
You are allowed to have this sentiment. Maybe clearly this is how he feels, but for you to be Micah's locker mate, for you to have his number, for you to be his teammate at all, for you to be a vet, and to go on the podcast and say this publicly, that's really how you feel, but you didn't feel compelled to say that man to man?
He does nice glasses, though. I give him that.
He does have nice glasses, yeah. To me, I think that's the crazy part of it, because now I have to look into what is the causation and correlation of all of this, right? Like, Micah does a podcast, which a lot of athletes do. And this is the new wave, and there's only going to be more of this. Not that everyone's going to have a podcast, but there are going to be certain guys that want to do that, and they're going to do it during the season, and that's going to be that, because that's just the world that we live in. There's a lot of things he could be doing in his off time, on his off day, that are not positive. There's things he could be doing that are irrelevant. Maybe he likes knitting, or he does pottery, or whatever. It's just that it's front-facing, so it's something that he can poke at. That's why Micah said, why are we not talking about everybody's preparation? What if the podcast take 2 hours out of his day on his off day? It's his off day. If this was something that was taking a time away from his preparation, then okay, like you can maybe draw an actual correlation to, I'm taking time away to do this from my work, but he's not. So what someone does on their off day, if it is not truly detrimental to them, why are we talking about this?
But I think, though, because he's allowed us to. Remember when Travis Kelce went to the baseball game before they played the Broncos, I believe it was. He played to a baseball game on Friday and then went to the Broncos game. I think they won. I don't remember.
No, they won.
Twice.
They won.
The only reason we talked about it is because Kelce allowed us to talk about it because he did it publicly. We all do things. It wasn't even the off day. Usually Friday practice ends, you fly to the opposing city on Saturday, so you got time after Friday practice before the plane leaves on Saturday. Everybody does what they want to go do. Some people go to casinos, might go to Sugar House, you might go to hair.